This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
You all ready for this? Dun 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 dun.
No.
Y'all,
just
stop.
This is a sham. Welcome to DBL. Almost ready. Happy Monday, everybody. How we feeling? How we feeling? Erica, I got to address the hair.
Oh, yeah. Well, you weren't here on Friday.
I was not? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But thank you.
So it's kind of old news. I'm late to the party.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I appreciate it.
All right, here we go. Some celebs are lending their support to the crisis in Ukraine. Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher had a video call with Ukrainian President Zelenskyy. He thanked the pair for raising nearly, get this, $35 million to support refugees. Next, David Beckham handed over control of his Instagram account to a Ukrainian doctor so his 71.6 million followers can see what she's doing. Dr. Irina is the head of a perinatal center, and she's showing what it's like working in the middle of the war, including where pregnant women were evacuated to bomb shelters, and even showing off some of the newborns while they're getting bombed.
Yep.
Just think about that. Finally, Max Chmerkovskiy gave an update from Poland where he's helping Ukrainian refugees. Some people had criticized him for fleeing the country when the war began. All right, so a lot to talk about, a lot of celebrities giving their support in any way that they can. Al, I want to go to you quickly just about Max, because we talked about him fleeing, but now he's back in Poland kind of lending his support. What do you think about that?
You know, I go back and forth with this, Jeff, because my initial response was like when people were going back to Ukraine to fight, I was like, he's leaving, that's not a good look. But then I was like, would I go back over there if I had to look at my kids and then get on a plane? So I felt a little bit bad about kind of not shaming him, but having some questions as to why he left as a healthy man when everybody else was staying. And now that he's in Poland, lending his not only his help, but more importantly, his celebrity, I think that's a good situation. I want everybody to remember this because when things go wrong, we tend to blame celebrities, but when they turn over their accounts like this, when they shed light on issues that may have not been really talked about before, we don't talk about how they do help and how necessary they are in times of crisis. So I do applaud Max, and you know, I stand by what I said. It was not. I don't think it was a great look for him, but the more I think about it, I don't know if I would have done any different.
Yeah, I think we discount social activism a lot because it's like, how hard is it to get on to your phone or, you know, social media or whatever and say something. And I think there's something different when you're putting action behind it and then also giving people information and insight so that they can put action behind it as well. I think, you know, a lot of people find themselves as being called activists when really they're just doing what is coming naturally to them to do as humans. And if that is a form of activism, that is something that we can all get behind. Obviously, there are people who are having to make much greater sacrifices, who are impacted much more than just using their social media account. But if you can put something behind that effort as well, I think it all is important.
Yeah, my MLK says our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter, right? And this war is not always about weapons. That's what's so interesting. It's about information. It's about data, propaganda. So social media has become a weapon in this war, a very important weapon. And if you have 72 million followers, that's a missile on social media to get a direct look at a crowdsourcing. So bravo to these people for understanding you can be soldiers of information. You can be soldiers of truth, like the woman who interrupted on the Russian TV. She didn't have a gun. She didn't have a bomb. She had the truth. She had the truth, and that's what I think you're trying to do with these celebrities. So I don't poo-poo them in any way. Any little bit helps. Any little bit helps.
Yeah, you bring up a good point because it is about information,
yes.
Correct information, right? And if you have that many followers, I'm sure people from Russia follow David Beckham.
Huge.
And he's lending his support, so it might make them think twice.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, let's move on because Kanye West won't be performing at the Grammys next month. Kanye's rep said he was pulled from the lineup due to his, quote, concerning online behavior. This comes days after Kanye was temporarily banned from Instagram after using a racial slur directed at Trevor Noah, who is also hosting the Grammys. Ooh. Trevor apparently had nothing to do with the decision, though, but he did take some swipes at Kanye on The Daily Show last week for harassing his ex, Kim Kardashian, Kanye's ex. Trevor has since tweeted out, quote, "I said counsel, Kanye, not cancel. Kanye. Hey, listen, I think he's got to say something too, even though he did say some things about Kanye, right? Obviously, he doesn't want him canceled. He doesn't want people thinking it's his fault why Kanye's not performing. It's Kanye's actions why he's not performing at the Grammys.
Well, let's be honest. Kanye can hijack a moment with or without everything that's led up to this.
I'm gonna let you finish, right?
Right. Yeah. So the idea
if only there was precedent for that.
It's not shocking, you know. Yes, of course he's been on a rant. He's been, you know, completely unpredictable. I don't think you hand anyone a mic at that point and give them a moment, because he can go completely rogue. That night's not about him. It's about the entire community when it comes to the Grammys. So
I have to say this too. I also thought about that when he interrupted Taylor Swift. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, and said, "I'm going to let you finish," but Beyonce's video should have. It was such a pop culture moment, right? But I also don't think the Grammys want to, and I'm trying to think of the word, condone what he's been doing. I don't think they want to be associated with the harassment. And I think it's a good look for the Grammys, because it's not just what he might do on stage, it's also, do we want a potential harasser on and celebrated on our stage? And I think that's a really, I know it sounds political, I'm not canceling Kanye, but for this round, he's just not welcome into that community.
But I was talking with Rob, our beloved cameraman, in between shows, and I don't know. I get why he's not on there. But Erica, would you watch? Would it be our first story? Well, no matter what happened?
But how much are we talking about the Grammys?
I know, in every award show, we sit here and we go, ratings are down, ratings are down. I'm not saying it would be great. I'm not saying I would want to be the one with my name next to it saying Al Jackson greenlit his appearance, but people would watch. So it's that weird thing of like, is television there to be our moral judge and compass, or is it there to sell advertising and get eyeballs on it? And I don't know which way to go. If it was DBL, put Kanye on live TV, I'd be scared we wouldn't have a job the next day, but I bet we'd have the best ratings we've ever had. So it's like that weird thing.
But don't explain. And I hear you. You're totally right. You're 100% right. I did a show where I did a recap of the things that happened last night, and when Kanye did that, I got 1 million views. So you're absolutely right. However, that's just exploiting the entire situation for gain. And I just can't think the Grammys have already had a bad look on them for a lot of reasons. I'm not sure they need another black eye.
All right, good points. Because I was going to bring that up to play devil's advocate. Because if Kanye's going on, we're going to be leading up to that for a month. A lot of people are going to be tuning in to see what he does, right? Yeah. But then is it exploitation?
It's like when Elon Musk is on SNL or anybody that's controversial. Right. I mean, people watch.
All right, well, let's get to this story. It's the end of an era. After 31 years on the air and countless paternity tests, the Maury Show is not picked up for another season. The show, which was debuted in 1991, was well known for revealing DNA tests to prove the paternity of various guests. Do I need to explain that? Does anyone not know what Maury is?
No.
But it seems to have run its course. NBC said it was a mutual decision between Maury and the network to end the show. As for who could replace Maury, according to Deadline, Queer Eye's Karamo Brown's new talk show looks like it might be a contender. That's a great start for Karamo if he gets that time slot, right?
Totally.
Yeah, well, it makes sense because Karamo's been on Maury for the past few seasons, either guest hosting or making appearances. So it seems like, there's a natural succession plan here. And good for Karamo. We love him. Friend of the show. That's our boy.
Yeah.
I just think the simplicity of the show is so good. Like a really high stakes answer to a question you don't know. That's all it is. It's like the envelope and the high stakes. It is the simplest form and such good entertainment. I mean, it's like I would watch every single day. So I really do hope Karamo gets that because that's a great, great spot.
I mean, Maury did something that we rarely saw, especially in daytime, was he transitioned because I'm old enough to remember when Maury did other things besides. Remember he used to do like Geek to Chic and like, oh, you dissed me in high school, Erica, and then they come out and they're like a stripper now and they're like, I'm like, I don't know if that's a good, like you're showing them up, but whatever. And then the pregnancy reveals, and like now it's almost like a cottage industry.
Very
where
much.
It's
He created it.
a format, no different than like this is a format, like just that kind of stuff. So shout out to Maury for being a true pioneer and just
Talk about ratings. Yeah.
I've met him a couple times. Super happy, super nice guy.
We had him on the show as well.
Yeah, incredible career. So good on him and good on Karamo.
So Karamo though is going to be doing a talk show, right?
Right.
So do you think there's room for another Maury to go, or do you need Maury to be the guy to open that envelope?
I think that format, for the reason that high stakes, it's not as high anymore, because back when this started, you know, the paternity test, it wasn't as easy to get a
Very
paternity
true.
test. Now we have like Ancestry, you can find out pretty much right away on your own without going and, you know, disparaging your entire famly.
But that's the fun part.
Yeah, Erica, what are you taking and pulling back the curtain?
Yeah, somebody doesn't want to stay in New York for a weekend.
Free hotel.
I didn't even think about that. It's such a simple answer. I'm like, man, sometimes I just like the ignorance of myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just enjoy life.
Yep.
Coming up on DBL, you agreed too many times.
Like a guppy.
I just swim around my little bowl and have fun. The amazing Ava DuVernay gives us a behind-the-scenes look at her new apocalyptic series. Come on, guys, her new series. And a new Bigfoot sighting has started a debate. Do you believe in the mysterious creature?
You heard Mitch Hedberg's joke?
Closed captioning provided by.
And I said,
Someone on Reddit posted a picture of a huge footprint. We think it's the latest Bigfoot sighting. So Jeff, you're going to intro, we're going to see a picture of the Reddit picture, okay?
Okay.
And then after that, you're going to pause and ask everyone, what do you think? If you saw this, what do you think it was Bigfoot?
Okay, so we're gonna pause a little
So you're going to pause, discuss, and then we're going to see 2 more pictures of potential Bigfoot sightings. They're like some of the most convincing, okay? And then you'll discuss at the end any supernatural beliefs, etc.
Okay.
Okay? Have fun with it.
Yeah, yeah.
I know it's a big deal, so just, you know.
I like it. I like Bigfoot stuff.
Okay, all right.
That show, Finding Bigfoot, ran for 9 seasons, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. It just.
Could you believe that?
They go never
And they've never found him. Every year.
Yeah.
It's like that. You guys ever watch The Curse of Oak Island? I know you don't. But it's like they find like a coin every season. And you're like, I want someone just to go in that hole and throw like a bunch of gold in there and be like, we found it.
I wonder if people still like. I don't know. Maybe was that you telling me that people take metal detectors and they've actually found things on the beach? I always thought that was just like more for relaxation, but
You
is
can
it
find
worth it
stuff,
if you
yeah.
find a diamond ring once a year?
I mean, you're out on the beach walking, you're out in nature. I would do something like that. If I was old and retired, beep, 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 I'd be
Yeah.
out
Once
there.
you do that though, that's a rough.
There's no coming back.
Well, it's kind of like people. I think for some people, it's like their daily run.
Yeah.
You know, like they'll spend like an hour just going through just to see if there's something out there.
I could see
Michael
that.
Dean lost his wedding ring, and you lost your wedding ring, bought one of those things, and he found it. Didn't you ever hear that story? Yeah.
A pinky
Wait,
ring.
you
Were
found
you
it
in
on the
Detroit
beach?
in 1971?
I was playing catch with my dog, and I threw it off my finger because it was too loose in this field, and I bought a metal detector, and I went back. It took me like 2 weeks, but I found it finally
Are you serious?
in the field
Yeah.
and I look like a crazy person. And yeah.
But that's cool.
I would have watched that documentary.
Welcome back. For decades, people have claimed they saw a strange man-like oversized primate in the woods. I'm talking about dad bod. No, I'm talking about Bigfoot, of course, but despite all of our technology, the creature has never officially been captured on film, but the proof lies in the footsteps, okay? So the latest comes from Big Sur, California, where a hiker spotted a huge footprint next to their own and shared it on the Bigfoot Reddit page.
Where's the foot?
It looks just like his
It's to the
foot.
left. It's to the left.
Looks like his foot.
I don't see it. I don't
looks
see
like-
it. Can somebody draw the outline?
I feel like it's just his foot.
He was wearing a blue compression
could see-
sock, and that threw everybody off. But I mean,
No, there's supposed to be an actual footprint next to the foot.
There
He's
is.
showing-
Let's put it up
don't see-
again. See on the left
See the
there?
indentation?
Yeah, on the left there's an, yeah.
it's hard not
But
to
it
stare
looks
at
just
the
like
sock.
his foot
What if it's
size?
just someone's bigger shoe?
What if Shaq walked by?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there would be a Bigfoot in there.
I think, Shaq is size 26, I think. So, yeah, I don't, but.
If I were Shaq, I would just walk all over barefoot, like all the time.
But wouldn't we be finding other things from Bigfoot? I'm not trying to be graphic. I know it's late at night, but like, he's a mammal, I'm assuming. So, like, if he's eating, there will be other things.
Oh, like Bigfoot.
Yeah. So, like, wouldn't we be
But
finding
then, I had a Great
treasures?
Dane, and though that was a, big find.
Okay. So, I don't know. I just think we would have found him.
All right, well, let me see. We got some more that might convince you, Al.
Convince.
So if that doesn't convince you, here are some pretty convincing sightings for Al. A Mississippi resident captured footage of this potential Bigfoot while hunting on his property. Afraid to go back to the woods, he posted the video to YouTube asking for help to identify the animal or for a prankster to come forward.
Why is it always so blurry? And it's always, you never get a clear shot of Bigfoot. Not once, you don't ever get a clear shot. It's always like the back of a head or like.
The camera on the iPhone is really good.
He moves too fast.
That's ridiculous. There's a joke, Mitch Hedberg, one of my favorite comics, said maybe Bigfoot just is blurry. That's the problem.
Do you remember Predator? Remember the movie Predator where he kind of gets like that mirror-like image, and that's what some people believe Bigfoot is. So he gets that mirror-like image and you can't see him even if he's right in front of you. But when he takes his force field down, you might get a back of a head shot.
So we're not going to just go with the idea that maybe we can't get a picture because he doesn't exist.
No, we got another photo.
Erica, get real.
Yeah, come on now, Erica.
I think
This one is from, we got one more for you. A hiker in Utah who spotted a large animal in the woods. Hold on, I want a peek at this.
Oh, that's not
That
right.
one's not bad.
No.
When he approached, the animal allegedly stood up on two legs and started throwing rocks at him, which is supposedly a trademark of the Sasquatch.
How does something have a trademark when we haven't even established that we've seen it?
Also, if it's throwing rocks, why didn't you get a picture of that?
Well, your rocks have been thrown at you, but wait,
Dude.
hold on. Is Sasquatch and Bigfoot different? Are they different?
No, I think they're the same.
Or the same. Is Bigfoot the umbrella that Sasquatch falls under?
I think they're the same.
Is everything a Bigfoot? It's like all...
Like Yeti.
Like there's whiskey and then scotch underneath it?
Right.
Yes.
I think so, but I think Sasquatch is a certain part of the country, maybe.
Like bourbon is from Kentucky.
Like bourbon, right? Okay. Like, but I think that Yetis are in the Alps, like they're in the snowy mountains.
Oh.
The Yeti,
I never
which is
thought
another
that.
abominable snowman thing.
Like, it's not champagne if it's not champagne from
Champagne, France.
That's right.
Sparkling white.
It's exactly right.
You want to know another interesting fact about Champagne, France? That's where I was eliminated in The Amazing Race.
Oh no.
Brings back some...
I hope you got drunk immediately.
Yeah, did you celebrate with some champs?
I don't think I did.
Oh.
See, that's a
they're like, all right,
opportunity.
have fun on your way home.
Here's some champagne.
Thanks for playing. Coming up on DBL, a new DC comic series is on HBO Max, and we've got the director Ava DuVernay to tell us all about it. That's coming up next.
Are the prices you're paying for gas at the pump staying high and the prices of crude oil dropping? To find out, we went to these sources: the U.S. Energy Information Administration, AAA, and the statistics company, Trading Economics. According to both the EIA and Trading Economics, the last time crude cost roughly $96 a barrel was February 28th of this year. So what was the price of gas at that point? According to the EIA and AAA, the national average was between $3.60 and $3.70 a gallon. So the data supports the president here. The last time crude oil cost roughly $96 a barrel, gas was cheaper than it is now at around $3.60 a gallon. Figures from Trading Economics and AAA show that on the day Biden posted his tweet, crude prices were trending downward and had fallen below $96 a barrel, while gas cost $4.31 a gallon. That means we can verify, yes, the price of gas is staying high even as the price of crude is dropping. But that doesn't mean it'll stay that way. We spoke with experts at GasBuddy who told us gas prices often lag behind oil prices during times of high volatility. They told us, quote, "There is no hard and fast rule for how long it takes gas prices to drop once oil prices decline. However, in this instance, we're expecting most of the U.S. to feel some sort of relief in the next few days, and for prices to potentially drop below the $4 mark on average in the next 3 to 5 weeks. That is, of course, dependent on oil prices staying where they are now." Nonetheless, Biden isn't the only one accusing the oil and gas industry of taking advantage. For its part, the American Petroleum Institute, a group that represents some oil companies, said to us in a statement, quote, "It takes time for changing market conditions to work through the supply chain and for the price of crude oil to be widely reflected in the price we pay at local gas stations." With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
Please, just me and my son. Christian? Christian?
That was a possible look into the future and clip from the new limited series DMZ, starring Rosario Dawson. Earlier, we had the honor to speak with the writer and producer who brought this comic book story to life, Ava DuVernay and Roberto Patino. Take a look. Ava and Roberto, welcome to DBL. Ava, a lot of your projects address the need for more minority representation, and I wanted you to share how DMZ helps fill this void. And also, I'm a little bit of a comic book nerd, like a graphic novel nerd, and I know you also have a series, Naomi. I wanted to know, are you kind of a comic book geek, like me?
I am a little bit. I have 2 shows that are based on DC comics and graphic novels right now, and I just enjoy it. I enjoy the world building, the fantasy, and enjoy seeing all kinds of people inhabit those worlds. For me, it's less about minority representation. It sounds kind of dry.
Right.
It's really about just seeing the world the way it is. There's all kinds of people walking around, and so all kinds of people should be in the stories we tell. It's really simple. And so this one is a joy because DMZ is inhabited by all kinds of folks. It's a real thrill ride.
I can't wait.
So Roberto, Rosario Dawson plays the main character, Alma. Now, was she someone you envisioned while writing? Because I know sometimes creators of pieces, they decide who they want in the film before they actually create it. So was she somebody you had in your head?
I'll tell you the truth. Rosario Dawson was in my head literally since day one.
I thought so.
I wrote this piece with her in mind.
So DMZ takes place after the Second Civil War in America. Do you think this post-apocalyptic world could become our reality, especially with all of the realities of the world as we speak?
Well, I think it's important that we ask that question and that we do the work so that we don't get there. You know, this story is about a divided country that allowed itself to break into 2 parts and to fight each other. And so I think it's a question of, can we hold these different ideas about our country, yet still be civil, yet still be respectful of the other opinion, that still kind of allows us to veer away from violence and horrible rhetoric about each other and let each person live in their own opinion? That's my hope. And so that's what this show contemplates, is what happens when we don't do that? What does it look like? And I think it's important that we tell those stories so we can not get there.
Right. Great. I agree with that. All right, Roberto, DMZ also confronts toxic masculinity. And as the man who wrote the screenplay, was it challenging to write a strong female lead? How did that writing process work for you?
Truthfully, it wasn't. I was raised by women.
Yes.
I was blessed to be surrounded by incredibly strong women my entire life. And, you know, they say write what you know. And I know firsthand that a mother's love is a superpower that you know, is stronger than anything you might see in any sort of comic universe. And so that's why I tried to center this story around that mother looking for her son.
Wow, what a strong story. Ava and Roberto, thank you so much for joining us. DBL Nation, listen closely. You can catch DMZ on HBO Max. We'll be right back. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, loves.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
posted on March 16th appears to show Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelenskyy calling for the Ukrainian people to surrender to Russia. The video was aired on a Ukrainian television station and circulated on social media. But is it real? Let's verify. Our sources are Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, Ukraine 24, a national broadcasting channel in Ukraine, General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, the Ukrainian National Guard, Invid, a video forensics tool, and TinEye, a reverse image search tool. This video is a fake. In fact, it's a deep fake, which means the video that you see was generated using artificial intelligence technology to mimic the real thing. Using video forensics tools and reverse image searching, Verify can confirm that this video was computer generated, using still images from Zelenskyy's earlier press conferences. I'll walk you through how we figured it out. First, let's focus on Zelensky's face. The face we see talking in the deepfake video on the left was generated from this still image taken of Zelenskyy at a press conference on March 3rd. The mouth on the photo was manipulated to appear as if Zelenskyy was actually talking. Next, the background. In the deepfake video on the left, the background remains completely static. But if this were real, the background would be moving, like this video of Zelenskyy talking in the same room. Using TinEye, a reverse image search tool, Verify matched the static background image on the left to this photo, which shows Zelenskyy at a press conference held on February 24th. Next, Verify analyzed Zelenskyy's overall stature. In the deepfake video on the left, he appears much taller, with broader shoulders and a different facial structure compared to his appearances at earlier press conferences, standing behind the same podium. Ukraine 24, the station that aired the deepfake video, said on its Telegram channel that the video aired while the station was under attack by hackers. In their post, they called the video a fake. So we can verify, no, this video is not real. It's a deepfake. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelenskyy said in a message on his social media pages that the video was, quote, a childish provocation, and Russia should be the one to lay down arms. With your Verify, I'm Adiante Till.
As Americans pay more at the pump, some drivers are wondering, do I need to buy premium gas? Our sources for this Verify are Jill Weisenfelder, the executive editor of Cars.com, and Daniel Armbruster with AAA Texas. In a 2016 study, AAA found Americans wasted more than $2 billion using premium gas in vehicles designed to run on regular fuel. And 6 years later, they say many are still wasting money.
A lot of drivers make that mistake. They don't read the owner's manual.
Both our experts agree drivers must read their owner's manual. That manual will tell you if your vehicle requires premium gas.
The only reason anyone needs to buy premium gas is if the car says that it is required, not recommended for best performance, but required. Cars that say recommended for best performance can operate on regular gas. They just change the timing a little bit. The only downside is you might get a little bit less power, but you probably wouldn't even notice the difference.
So we can verify you don't have to buy premium gas unless your vehicle requires it.
But if your vehicle owner's manual requires it, you definitely have to purchase premium fuel.
With your Verify.
Welcome back to DBL. So the Bigfoot conversation continued at the break. Does that mean I wasn't feeling the love for Bigfoot up here? Do you not believe in anything like that? Loch Ness, yeah, any of these?
Especially when you go do some...
Look at that. Look, how much clearer do you need?
A lot clearer. It's like from 1992. I think we've learned that somebody on a beach where there was real footprints that like went a long ways, he had attached fake feet to create it. So now that we know a lot of people have actually tried to create it with pictures. And, yeah.
Somebody would do that?
Uh-huh.
Well,
that is so weird.
The famous video, right, of the Bigfoot walk,
the big strides.
They cracked that and they said who was inside there and how they videotaped it.
So you guys don't believe in anything?
I do.
What do you?
I believe in things.
I'm more
I believe in myself.
I'm more of a chupacabra kind of guy.
Those are real.
No, they're not.
They're not?
No.
Chupacabras?
It's like Brazil's Bigfoot. They're smaller. All right, we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.
Capybaras are real.
No.
Yeah.